Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I have an interesting video since I've been filming project panning videos for about a month and a half now. I've been focusing on hitting panning a lot of products, but also you guys, for this entire year, I've been focusing on using my products. So I've been creating a list and I've been doing this series for a while now. It's just that I don't do it consistently. And on this list, I write every single product that I hit pan on, whether it's eyeshadow, bronzer, or whatnot. So let me show you my part 2 of 2023 of products that I hit pan on, and I have a ton, you guys. So if you want to see a lot of pan porn and you want to see a lot of makeup with little pans in them, then just keep on watching. You guys, if you're new to my channel, I post project panning content, a lot of project panning content, and also luxury makeup videos. I'm a makeup artist and I just adore everything makeup. I always leave a question in the comment section below so that we can chat about makeup, and today I have a lot of pans to show you. Okay, so to start, I have here one of my favorite palettes, and it's the Nars Banc the Sable palette, and I had one pan in it on my favorite shade, which is the center shade. And now I hit pan, and you can see it from afar on the first shade, which is the lightest shade. I adore the way this looks on the skin. I sometimes use it on my makeup artistry kit, but this is one of my holy grail highlighters in my entire collection. If I had to only choose one, this would be my palette that I would keep for highlighter for sure. So yeah, I have one more pan in it. The only one that has no pan is the darker shade, which works for me. I can use it as a blush topper, so you will see pan eventually because I use all three shades. This product, I've been focusing on finishing powder products or powder foundations or just pressed powders because they're not something that I use on a daily basis, and I have quite a few that I've accumulated throughout the years. So this is the Australis Fresh and Flawless pressed powder, and this is gonna be a replacement on my full face of summer project pan, but I've been already using and expanding the pan on it. I hit pan on it this year, and you can see this is a huge pan, and I'm pretty sure that I will finish this powder before the year is over. I wouldn't repurchase it. I have the shade Nude and I have another shade as well, but this one is too pinky for me. I still use it to blot my face throughout the day or just to set my makeup at the end of my makeup routine, but it's not a favorite because the color is wrong for me. So I wouldn't repurchase, but I really like this formula. On my full face of summer, I added the Becca Opal, and this is one of the products that I want to finish this year since I have a backup and I have a small one in a face palette that I own. But this was repressed because it used to have a huge pan and now it has a small pan again. So I'm pretty happy to see that this is a doable product to finish throughout this year. I don't know if I'll be able to completely finish it. If I only use this highlighter, I'm sure that I would, but I have other highlighters in my collection and I still like to rotate my collection, but I'm pretty sure that I will be seeing way more progress on this one, and I'm happy that I hit pan again on it. This is one of my level up project panning palettes, and this is the Rare Beauty Magnetic Spirit, and I hit pan in the shade Power, which is the whitish shade. If you already saw my update, you'll know that the palette was brand new when I added it to the project, and I fell in love with this shade. It didn't take too long to get pan on it, but I'm happy that I have another palette with a pan on it, and I will keep using it. I didn't know, and I still have the claim that if I don't use it by the end of the year again, then I will pass it on to my mom because I know my mom will love these purples and this color, and then also the green. Maybe not the orange, but all of the other shades she will show love to as daily shades. I had this on my list before I finished it, but this is the Ambient Lighting Edit Mini Palette, and this is the Sculpture Unlocked, and I hit pan in 3 shades and I also finished them. So I wanted to show you the empty pans, and if you have been following my Pan That Face palette project, you have seen these, and I'm hoping to hit pan in the blush as well. For another bronzer I have here, this is an oldie but a goodie. This is the Chanel Lumiere de Tête powder, illuminating powder. On this one, I hit little pan right here, and this is a gel type of formula. I find that these are harder products to hit pan on, but I managed to do so. So I'm pretty happy to say that I have pan in another bronzer. And these will be one of those bronzers that I'll be focusing on to finish before my move. For pressed powders, like I said, I have quite a few, and this is the Perfect Skin Mineral Powder Foundation from Becca, and I had 3 shades. I finished one, and I heat pan in another one that I think I showed you on my last video, products that I heat pan on, but now I heat pan in the shade Tan. I also have Noisette, and that one has pan in it, and I think that I could finish also this one by the end of the year. I know I have a lot of products that I want to finish, but I think it's doable. I do my makeup every single day, and sometimes I layer products or mix 2 bronzers at a time or use bronzer as blush and whatnot. So I think my bronzer collection could go down. This is right now inside my bronzer palette, even though it's a powder foundation. I have here the Tartelette Toasted, and on this one, you guys, I hit pan in, I think, another shade. Yeah, the shade Fireside, which is the darkest shade right here. You guys, I'm holding my baby right here. I'm breastfeeding, so he just found me. So what I did is that I pulled out about 10 palettes, and I'm gonna do a video about that. And then I left them on my makeup desk for the entire week, closed of course, but every single day I would open them all up. And then the eyeshadows that had like a dent on them, I would see and focus on them to see if I could hit pan in a lot of shades. And I did hit pan in quite a few shades and used other palettes that I wasn't using. So I'm quite happy that I hit another pan in the Tartelette Toasted palette, because now this one has 4 pans. Another palette that I put with those is the Tartelette in Bloom, and this one I forgot how much I loved it. This one already had 3 pans, and then I decided to keep working on it, and I was sure that I was gonna hit pan in at least 1 more shade, but I hit pan in 2 shades, which are the shades Rocker and Firecracker. So the 2 that are right next to the darkest shades are 2 new pans, and now this eyeshadow palette has 5 pans in them. I think this palette now comes with refills, but I'm pretty sure that this would be a palette that I would repurchase. It's so user-friendly, so beautiful, and I forgot how much I loved it. Just using them, and the scent, the chocolatey scent that the Tarte palettes have, it's like no other. So 2 pans from this one. For my Level Up Project pan, one palette that you already saw the update is the Nude Medium by Huda Beauty, and this one had 3 pans already, and I hit pan in 2 more shades, which are the 2 center shades, the orangey one and this matte one, which is the first matte in the palette that I hit pan on. Now those are 2 more pans to the count, and then I have all the other 4 mattes that I can keep working on, and this is sort of an easier palette to hit pan on, but the mattes take longer than the shimmers. Still an everyday palette for me, so I think at some point I will have hit pan in every single shade of this one. I hit pan in my all-time favorite, the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Radiant Light, and I've expanded the pan since hitting it. I also have Mood Light, then Ambient Light lighting powder in the shade Infinity, and I have a few finishing powders from Hourglass in the face palettes that I own, but this is my favorite, and it's one that I would repurchase for sure time after time. I wish I had one that was only for myself, because I've been using this on my kids and on myself. I use it on myself, not every day nowadays, because I've been using another powder. When I finish all of my finishing powders, my personal ones, I'll buy this one and not have the other shades that I don't love that much for myself. This is Holy Grail. I call it with my makeup clients the magic powder, and some of them have purchased it and loved it. The ones that take makeup lessons with me, all of them purchase this powder. For my Natasha Denona palette, since I started doing or stopped doing my Franken palette, I stopped hitting pan on my Natasha Denona palettes. But the other day I decided to restart the project, and you will see a few pans from that. But then also I decided to pull out my Natasha Denona eyeshadows and play with them more and more as a collection of palettes instead of a collection of singles as well. So I've been pulling a few palettes here and there from my Natasha Denona collection, and this was one of them. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Love palette, and this one had one pan, which is the pinky shade, and then I decided to focus on the highlighting shade because every single day I use an inner corner highlight, and it was the turn for this one. And I think this is a palette that can also have pan in every single shade, but I was just neglecting it. So I'm happy that it has one more pan in it. This little face palette I've been working on for the entire year, and this is the Natasha Denona Tan Bronze and Glow Face Palette. And on this one, I hit pan on, last year I hit pan on the face glow, the cream glow base, or the glow cream base, but the rest of the powders had no pan in them, and now I have two more pans, and I'm so excited. If you guys saw my update with this one, you have seen these pans being expanded, and I'm working on hitting pan on this one, which will be a long-term goal, but two more pans on another face palette this year, and I'm pretty sure that before next year, or maybe at the middle of next year, this palette will be gone from my collection as well. You guys, I can't remember which shade of this palette I hit pan on. This is the Naughty palette by Huda Beauty. I removed this eyeshadow because it was smelling bad, and I just don't like it. I wouldn't use it anyway. But I think I hit pan this year on this one or this one, and I'm about to hit pan on this one. I know I also hit pan on this one. This is a small pan, and this palette now has 5 pans altogether, but I can't remember for the life of me which one is a new pan, but I know it's just one that I haven't mentioned before. So that's another pan. And then these 3 last pans are gonna come from my Franken palette, and you will see, I think before this video. I will film this after the video, but you will see it before my Franken palette intro video. And I didn't film it when I first created this palette because I forgot, but I started using this palette every single day, and it was one of the palettes that I took with me on my trip to Cali when I was doing my micropigmentation course. So that was a week ago, and I use this every single day. And I have 3 new pans. All the eyeshadows that I chose for it were without a pan, and I decided to pull eyeshadows from all of my collection of Natasha Denona palettes. And if you guys hadn't seen my Franken palette videos, I pull out all of my Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette collection and pick and choose eyeshadows from each palette that have no pan in them and focus on them. What I've noticed is that since doing that, I neglect my Level Up Project Pan palette, but it's something that I have to deal with. I want to hit more pans than wanting to do a project, you know. So I'll be good if it takes me longer to work on a Level Up Project Pan palette, but I adore creating Franken palettes. So stop talking, Jordana. This is 3 new eyeshadows that I have hit pan on from different Natasha Denona palettes. So the first eyeshadow that I hit pan on is the Blend eyeshadow from the Glam palette. If you want to see how the palette looks, stay tuned for the Franken palette video. Another palette that I hit pan on, and this is gonna be the first eyeshadow that has pan from that palette, is my Dream palette Babies shade. And you guys can see this has been used and abused. This is my favorite shade from the entire palette. I have also Psychedelic from the Retro palette. So this one I use a lot as an inner corner shade, and I love it. And I'm about to hit pan about 4 more shades. One from the My Dream palette, one from the Retro Glam palette, and 2 more from the Glam palette, and then I have 1 from the Lila palette, and that would be the first pan for the Lila palette. So I've been really working on this palette. I have it in this beautiful ColourPop cardboard C palette. How that project works, if you don't know, is that I pull those palettes, and then monthly I will start removing the pans that I've hit and returning them to the collection and replacing them as a rolling project pan with other eyeshadows that I want to work on. I don't necessarily need to be panning all of the shades from the Franken palette, but it's my goal to show them a lot of love. So that means that now my Retro palette has a third pan. This is the psychedelic that I just showed you, and I had 2 more pans. Then Natasha Denona, my dream palette, has 1 pan, which is on the shade Babies, and then the Glam palette has already 6 pans, and that would be the 7th pan for this palette. So that makes it a pretty used and abused Natasha Denona palette. So 21 new pans in my collection, you guys, and soon I'll be filming a video of all of the products that are not eyeshadow palettes that have pan in them, and how many pans I have in my collection, and all of the eyeshadow pans that I have in my collection as well. If you like to see that, please give this video a thumbs up and always comment what you want to see next. That helps a lot of people that love this type of videos find me here on YouTube, which is harder nowadays than ever. And also remember to subscribe to my channel. Let's chat in the comment section below, and if you have heat pan in any products, please let me know below. I'd love to talk to you guys about products that you're finishing up and products that you're loving from your collection. I love you, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.